Good evening there, mini war gamers, and welcome to another episode of The Benchmark, and I'm Austin. So, let's get started here. I've got a couple of new things to show you that I have either acquired or are brand new. So, first things first, the thing that has been on my mind for the last little while is definitely Dropzone Commander. Now, I know that we don't officially support the game at Mini Wargaming currently, but I think this game is really going places. It kind of came out of nowhere. The backstory that I know is that Dave from Hawk War Games essentially locked himself away for about 3 years, designing the game. I think he even sculpted the miniatures, or some of them, painted some of the ones that went into the book, wrote the rule set, everything. I mean, he really built this thing from the ground up. Obviously, he's got a full-fledged shop now, as he is in full production. And really, so far as I can tell, flourishing. The places can hardly keep his stuff in stock. It's selling off quickly. It's been a little bit difficult to actually get some stuff occasionally from certain online vendors. So he's got to be doing something right here to be getting this much attention. I finally got to play my first game last night, and I'll admit it was really fun, but I have got a lot of rules to learn before I'm an expert on this game, and that's putting it lightly. We stumbled our way through our first game at, I think, 1,000 points, some such thing. So I'd like to show you some of the miniatures, and this is actually a handful of miniatures from a commission that I'm doing right now. So commissions for this are already picking up, and these are not by any stretch of the imagination finished. They're just base coated in the basic colors, and we'll take a look right now. So here under the close game, this is a Coyote. It is a command unit, if I can get this thing to focus correctly. There we go. So you can see these are absolutely phenomenally detailed, just packed full of details, and you can see this is a pretty small piece too. These are all resin, and they're multi-part. They're posable for the most part, even magnetizable, though there's not more than one set of weapon options in a particular kit at this point. So we're getting a lot of weird autofocus stuff going on here, but I hope you guys can see this. This is just really great stuff. This is one of the reasons I was so excited about this game. It's just the sheer cool factor in their minis. Now, this is one of the command options for the faction, the Shaltari Tribes, and this is just a walker with a pair of really awesome guns. I believe these are Gauss guns. This is one of their transports. This is an Eden Gate, I believe. This is their essentially large gate. We've got a large and a medium and some really small flyer and grav tank gates that I'll show you in a second here. But these are really cool. I like the aesthetic of these. There's lots of really great detail. It's going to be nice with washes in here. You can see we've got a fade between dark brown and sort of a light yellowy brown out near the tips of these veins. And then we're going to do all of this patterned plating here in a turquoise color. They have a very Native American sort of theme to their faction, and these are the infantry, which is really pretty much the only thing in the game. Can we get focus? Maybe not. There we are. It's really one of the only things in the game that is actually made of pewter. They are on a resin base, but each one of these little guys is resin. They're all one piece. And can we get focus on the back here? Hello? I think the camera is struggling to keep up here. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I couldn't really get the backside of these too well. Okay, well, we'll let that say a lot. Okay, so if you want to see a miniature that is not yet painted, you can see the type of resin that it's made of. This is a war spear. This is one of the flyers in the game. and I think that this is just one piece here. I think these are quite good, and in last night's game it was absolutely deadly because I didn't have any anti-aircraft. In fact, I did, but the first thing that it shot was my dropship full of anti-aircraft walkers, and it blew it right out of the sky. Like, no survivors, everything died. It was pretty devastating, actually. I ended up winning the game only by a few points, a few kill points. Well, this camera is really just not participating at all in what I am doing. There we go. But yeah, won just barely by the skin of my teeth. Here are some of the grav tank gates, and these just they don't fly around, they just sort of hover on the ground level. And here are some of the smaller flying gates. These guys are really great. They have super speed. I think they move like 30 inches, or can move 30 inches a turn. And some teeny tiny little grav tanks here. These are scout grav tanks. They'll take out infantry, but not much else. And then we got some anti-air, like regular grav tanks. These were pretty fun. They were really putting a hurting on my transport ships. Now, the interesting thing about the Sheltari is that they use portal technology. These gates actually bring them in from reserves off table, and this is one of my transports here. This is the Neptune, and I've got a whole bunch of these. These guys can carry two walkers or two tanks, depending on what battle group they're attached to. And I've just got them painted up in a really simple gray and black and silver color scheme with orange missiles here. And let me pull out some of the other minis that I've got so far. The faction here that you're looking at, these are mine. They are PHR, or Post-Human Republic. We've got a few other minis here. Let's see if I can adjust the lighting, maybe. Maybe that'll help a little bit. And there we go. This is one of the anti-aircraft guys. This is a command tank, or a tank. It's a command walker. Here's one of the pretty standard walkers. This is an Ares, this is a Phobos, and this is a Zeus. The PHR has a very Greek and Roman sort of theme, and I've actually magnetized these guys. They're supposed to attach to the dropship via these rings here, and I just stuck magnets in them so that the dropship actually picks them up. So I thought that was a pretty good idea, and you can still get to the little peg where your flight stand goes into. I'll actually show you here. Here's one of the flight stands, and we'll just stick that on there real quick so you can see. Yeah. So yeah, that is what we've got going on there. There's a bunch of other stuff for this, but if you want to check them out, go to hawkwargames.com and take a look at some of the product range they have there. It's pretty cool stuff. Let me get these put away back into their case. And get that out of the way too. There's lots and lots of really cool stuff coming out of Hawk War Games at the moment. I've been hearing that they're coming out with Wave 2 sometime soon, and sometime soon I mean 3 to 6 months, I guess. That's what I understand from them at the moment. Let me try to rearrange a couple things off camera here. This whole lamp thing not working out as well as I thought it would. And yeah. maybe if I fix this other camera a little bit, maybe it'll behave itself a little bit more, perhaps. Okay, well, anyway, I think it is time to cut into a new segment that I hope to be doing a little bit more. Now, technically, I guess the last thing was something of a look at a new product, but I've been getting more and more products from vendors to do reviews on and things like that, so I'm going to introduce the new product review segment. And this week we're going to be looking at some Badger Airbrushes. So the first one you guys might be familiar with already. It is the Badger Patriot 105. So here we have it. This is the airbrush that I use actually in pretty much all of my airbrush videos for the Vault up till recently. I've actually switched over to another one, which I will show you guys momentarily. This is the Patriot 105. It's actually quite easy to tear down. I really enjoy this brush quite a lot. It comes packed in this nice foam case here. It's actually quite good for storage as well. I would definitely hang on to that. You've got the lid cap here for your reservoir. That's good to have on there while you're painting, so when you're moving around a whole bunch it doesn't slosh out onto whatever it is that you're painting. And the tip here just to keep your needle safe while you are painting or storing or moving it. This is really very easy to clean, very quick to tear down, and I'll give you a quick rundown of the components here. We've got the back handle housing here, which has these nice openings so that when it's on the brush you still have access to the chucker nut, which makes it very easy to release the needle while the brush is still assembled. You can also use it to pull back on the needle and it opens up the flow of paint out the end. So let me continue on with my tear down here. We'll take the needle out next. And then you can remove the entire spring assembly. I'm not going to tear down the spring assembly just because there's really not a whole lot of reason that you would ever need to do that unless you're replacing a broken part, and honestly that just doesn't happen very often. Not at least with this particular part of the brush. So we've got the spring assembly there, we've got this T-stop, and we've got the trigger, which just lifts out as soon as you take the needle out. And then the end, which does break down into two stages here, but for the most part when you're just doing cleaning and maintenance you don't need to take that first stage off. Plus it's rather on there well when it comes from the factory, so I don't want to wrestle with it at the moment. And then you've got the cone, which seats into this hole here, keeps it nice and centered. That also in turn keeps the needle centered. So then the only other part that can be removed is this, and that attaches to, you can see it down in there a little bit. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, there you go. That is the air trigger that the physical button trigger sits in, and it's got a little spring down here, and it releases air through from the air source, whether it's a compressor or can or whatever, up here and then out through this hole here. So it's not one of the dispersed heads where it's got 4 or 5 around the edge, but you've got a dispersal unit inside the first stage. In fact, you can see it right there. You can see all the holes in there around, which then forces air out through the tip and around the cone. So very easy to break down and clean. You can just soak all those parts individually or together in a big batch or what have you. But everything goes back together very easily. But I know some of you are probably saying, well, this is straight from the factory. Of course everything's going to be fine right now, but I can attest to the quality of the construction just because I've used this exact model for quite some time, and it's been rather reliable. There we go. Sorry, fumbling just a little bit here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Trigger back in. I gotta say, it does take a little bit of finesse. Go. Just gotta make sure we get good tension on the back end here. That is the way that you set tension, is just how deep into this you've got it screwed. So right now we've got good tight tension there. If you want it really loose, you can open it back up a bit. But I like my tension pretty firm, just because it makes it really hard for me to accidentally give it more pressure and more paint than I'm intending. So there we are, we're all the way back together, and just for now I'm going to go ahead and stow this back in the box. Now the second brush, as I was talking to you about this one, is I realized that I have it actually elsewhere in the studio here, and that's mostly because I've been using it steadily for the last few tutorials. It is the Badger Chrome Renegade, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm actually probably going to go ahead and save that one for next week's tutorial, and I'll probably do a short demonstration with it. I apologize, I've taken it back downstairs to use it. I started working on this vlog earlier and then had some issues with recording, but that's neither here nor there. So in the upcoming segment here, I'd like to go and take a look at some of the questions that I got in previous vlogs, and we'll see if we can answer a handful of those questions. If I don't get to your question this time, and it looks like I've missed it or something from a previous vlog, just repost it in the comments. I'd love to field your questions, and yeah, your questions keep this vlog going and give me things to talk about. So please, by all means, let me know what you're interested in, what you want to talk about. So let me go ahead and switch over to the site here, and we will see what we have in the comments from last time.
Next time on The Gauntlet.
So, looks like the first question is, what armies do you collect / play now, and how many points are they? And that is from Tyrannid Master 27. So, I think that I've answered this question before, but I'll try and give you a quick overview, and I say quick just because I play a lot of games. I play an embarrassing number of different games, and I'll try to run through it real fast. Okay, so for Warhammer 40k, I have 4 armies, I believe. The largest one at the moment, I believe, is Chaos Space Marines. I've sort of accumulated a bunch of those. I think that's at 4,000 points. The Chaos-themed Blood Angels, I believe, are around 3,000, or maybe 3,500. The next largest would be Dark Eldar, which is about 3,000, and then I have Orcs at about 1,500 to 2,000. I also do have some Tau allies, but I don't really ever use those. I got them on a trade-in, and I haven't really figured out what to do with them yet. They're not in the best of condition, so yeah. Warhammer Fantasy. I play Skaven and Vampire Counts. And for both of those, well, for Vampire Counts, I think I have about 3,500 points, and for Skaven, I probably have around 2,000. I haven't looked recently, and I'm not 100% positive on that. Okay, for other game systems, I'm going to have to rack my brain here for a second. Okay. I have 3 or 4 armies in Infinity, depending on how you look at it. I have 2 Nomad armies, and they could be put together, but they're kind of built separately, 2 different lists. Then I also play Pan-Oceania, specifically military orders. Then I also play, I have an Ariadne Force. That was actually the first one that I bought. Then, okay, so that's all for Infinity. Malifaux, I basically have the Sonya Creed starter box, and that's it. I haven't played a whole lot of that. I liked the game, it was fun, just haven't really had an opportunity to use it too much. Dystopian Wars. I have a small group of Prussian Empire. I don't really know how to play that game. I bought the minis, they look cool. I'm a sucker for pretty miniatures, and they had Zeppelins. I could help myself. They just look so good. Other games. I bought into the Relic Knights Kickstarter a while back, so I will hopefully have some of that first quarter of next year. I bought 2 factions, pretty much the entire range. At launch, I bought the No Empire, and I bought the Speed Circuit, which is kind of like Speed Racer meets Gundams. So that looks pretty awesome, and the game system looks pretty neat. Anyway, what other games do I play? I know I play others. I have Dust. I play Axis. That's the Dust Warfare, not Dust Tactics. I mean, it's the same minis, really, but I play the Wargame version that came out this past year at Adepticon. And, oh, how could I forget that one? I play War Machine Hordes. I have several armies. My largest is Khador at about 250 points. I also have a small, like 25-point contingent of Circle, about 50 points of Retribution, and I have like the 2 faction starter box worth of Menoth. So a little tiny bit of Menoth. I think it's like 21 points is what comes in the box. Do I play any other games? I'm quite certain I do, but it is escaping me. Oh, right, obviously, Dropzone Commander. I play PHR, and I have about 15 to 1,700 points of that now. If you want to dig back to games that aren't even relevant anymore, I also played Exilis. I had way too many points of that, and then it crashed and burned, so oh well. Did I mention Dark Eldar? I don't think I mentioned Dark Eldar when I was talking about 40k, but I have a bunch of them, and they are probably going to show up sooner rather than later in a battle report, because I'm going to try and do some battle reports sometime soon. I know I keep saying that. You guys are probably just wondering when that's going to happen, but honestly, the fact of the matter is I just haven't had enough time to paint all my minis. I've got commissions and tutorials to make for you guys, so that is more important at the moment. But I will certainly get some battle, like everybody else makes battle reports, but it's pretty much just me and Chris making hobby tutorials and videos. So anyway, let's find another question. That is not a question. Okay, OmniDrive asks, sorry if this has been in one of the videos, but roughly what will your Dark Eldar list be like, etc. Example, Coven, Kabalites and Raiders, lots of Reavers, etc. Okay, so you kind of hit it on the head there with 2 of those. I love playing Raider Rush. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite tactics. I love shooty armies. My first 40k army that I actually played was Tau, so I love shooting armies. It's great. In fact, the thing that got me back into 40k after I left for a while was Grey Knights. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, Grey Knights. It was the models. I really liked them. I like Marines, and they looked different, and they were more ornate looking. I just wanted something cool to paint. Some of the models disappointed me, namely the Dread Knight. I think they could have looked a little bit more in tune with the rest of their fluff, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. But the thing that I liked about them most was that they were essentially a shooting army. They might all had power weapons, but they could mess you up at range with everybody having storm bolters and then taking Cybolt ammo. It's just nuts. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to play lots of Raiders, but I also really like the Reaver jet bikes. They are just so deliciously devastating. If you give them, caltrops and you just flying over stuff, oh man, they're so great. I love playing with those. Just ripping everything to shreds as you fly over. Mostly they're like a melee unit without actually getting stuck in melee. So you can soften them up with shooting and then finish them off with the jet bikes, and then vice versa. You could run over them with jet bikes and then the next turn shoot them to death as long as they didn't get your jet bikes. So you have to be careful with how you maneuver the jet bikes. Anyway, let's see. The Iron Warrior asks, hey, you probably already said this in one of your videos. Yeah, okay. But what part of North Carolina? But where are you in North Carolina? I am in a town called Jamestown. That is in the middle of the Triad. I'm in between High Point and Greensboro, and kind of near Winston-Salem. Triad being Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem. So I'm kind of in the middle of all of it. I work in Greensboro and commute back and forth. Anyway, so if any of you guys are in the area and want to play games, I usually host games every week or so. So if you're interested and are in the area, shoot me a PM in Warmail here, or at my email address, which is brushforhire.minis@gmail.com. So, another question. Quick question about ordnance. Oh, this is from, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did say who the last question was from. K. Yen Shrike. Quick question. I know ordnance does an extra die, pick the highest when pen, but just to clarify, it does not negate cover. Good vlogs, Austin. Keep them going. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, K. Yen Shrike, I do not have the book with me, and I am not a font of knowledge when it comes to the particulars of things in 40K yet. So I don't know the answer, and I don't have the book with me, and I'm not editing this video, so I'm not going to run like across the house to go find the book. I will look it up. I will figure out what the deal is with this, and I'll either post it in the comments here or on this vlog, or I will talk about it in the next one. So I'm sorry for being unprepared, but that is just the way of things sometimes. Thank you for the compliment. That is not... Oh wait, maybe this is a question. This is from Star Wars Geek. I didn't see an answer to a question I posted a few blogs back. You had a video or two where you did dual cam shot on your video, and I was wondering what software you used to record with two cams at the same time like that. I'm looking for something like that, but I can't find anything that works. Thanks. Okay, so there's two things I need to tell you. One is that the first thing anyway, I won't go down another path. The first video that you saw where I had two cameras, that was just literally two cameras set up, and I recorded, and then I used Final Cut Pro to edit them together. And I just shrunk one down and stuck it up in the corner, and you can do all that in a non-linear editor. You can probably do that with Premiere too. I don't see why you couldn't. Final Cut is about $300. It's a little pricey if you're not making money using it or are really serious about doing video work. Right now, I'm using two cameras. I'm not, you're not seeing both of them up here, but you could. I could make it so that you could see both of them together, the close-up cam and the big cam. But I'm actually recording this all at once. Everything you're seeing is completely unedited. I'm just switching back and forth between cameras, and this piece of software is called XSplit, like the letter X and then the word split. And you can find that just online. Just do a search for XSplit, and I'm using webcams for this vlog right now. This is actually the setup that we're using for the live broadcasts, and in fact XSplit is an excellent tool for doing live broadcasting to websites like Justin.tv or Twitch TV, and a variety of other ones whose names I don't know because I don't use them. So you can do local recordings. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just recording to my hard drive, and then I'm going to upload this to the site. So you can do it that way. I feel like it's a little bit convoluted to do it that way if you're just trying to do video editing. I would suggest finding a non-linear editor that works for you. Stuff like Movie Maker is not going to help you there. Neither will iMovie, I think, for Mac OS. I don't think that does what you need it to do. Okay. Let's take a look, see what other questions we have. Those are not questions. Thank you for your comments, though, about anime. I completely
Next time
agree.
on the
I don't
Gauntlet.
like watching
Contestants will be playing Valve's
dub
Team Fortress.
stuff. So, let's see. Looks like... Okay. Yeah, okay, you are a question. Flipseed? Flip, it might be flip side, but the E and the D are flipped. Maybe that's the joke. Anyway, saying, hey, I was wondering what happened to your chaos-themed Blood Angels. Love your stuff, etc., etc. Well, thank you, and it's kind of on the back burner. I don't have a whole lot of time to do personal projects right now. I'm working on getting my Dark Eldar up and going. Even that is a task for me right now. I've got commissions and things that I'm working on, and I'd much rather do things for other people than for myself at the moment, just because I don't know, other people's stuff is more exciting. Maybe that's just the service-mindedness of me. I'm in IT, so I really like helping other people. I like teaching people how to do things, so that seems more interesting. And on top of that, I think right now it's more important for me to make more new content than it is for me to get my own things painted up. So yes, they're still here. They haven't gone anywhere. I will paint them eventually, I promise. I encourage you to keep after me about it if you're really interested in it, because I will forget and it will fade into the ether. So keep poking at me, every month or so. I don't know. Let's see. Doc Darrell. Hello, Austin. I have a question for you that I could use an opinion on. My question is, would you suggest new Warhammer Fantasy players start with Empire, Skaven, Dark Elf, or Lizardmen as their first army? They can learn how to I assume you mean improve, and easy to figure their army out or all. Okay, I'm not really sure what you said in that sentence, but let's press on. I've seen way too many high elf players and some other ones, which I can't remember their names. Thanks for taking time. Thanks for taking your time to answer my question. Happy Warhammer. Okay, so I think what you're asking is, if you're a new Warhammer Fantasy player, which one would you choose from that list? Now, there's no best army for any game, hopefully. Well, there may be, but for Warhammer, there really isn't. You're going to have to make a call. It's kind of a preference thing. There are ways to play every army successfully, especially if your definition of success is to have fun. Now, what I will say is that you can get into Skaven out of that list very cheaply, because they're still in the Isle of Blood starter box. And for $100, $50 if you can split it with a friend, or maybe if you go on eBay you can find the Skaven half of the starter for pretty cheap. Hopefully, for around $50, which is half the box. Now, you won't get the templates or the dice or the book or any of that stuff, probably with a lot of these eBay auctions, but you can buy this thing separately. Most people just part it out so that you've got one half of the army, other half of the army, and then the books and the templates and dice and yeah. Anyway, you guys can find that on eBay. there's just boatloads of stuff. Plus, there's some stuff in there that isn't available elsewhere in the range. I actually just happen to have a bucket of Skaven stuff over here, and so maybe we will take a look at them under the close cam. We will. Why is it like it's like perfect right there, and then I bring my hands in and it like freaks out and makes it all weird. Okay, here. Okay, there we go. Actually, that's pretty good. So this is the Poison Wind Mortar Crew. This does not exist anywhere except in the starter box. I think they look really cool and fun. These are yet some more unpainted models. Why in the world will you not focus? You're being such a jerk to me, camera. There we go. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe it's like really focusing on its own like tripod leg there. Okay, so we've got that, and let's see some of the other things that are exclusive to the box. This you can get Warlords outside the box, but this one's pretty cool. And it just comes with Skaven stuff, so it's really nice. Hero or Lord choice, which I cannot remember which it is. But yeah, it's really nicely detailed stuff. It's not posable at all. You know, it kind of goes together like the new Dark Vengeance box stuff, where everything just sort of slots and pegs together, and you can't really do anything outside of that with it. One thing that I will point out. This is one of the Rat Ogres from the Isle of Blood starter box. And this is, there are two of them in two different poses, and I rather like these guys. I think that they look so good compared to the ones that you can buy in the normal plastic kit boxes. I mean, looking at this one, very nice, very detailed, very dynamic pose. And then you've got these, which are posable, yes, but I mean, just look at it. It's laughable. It's so cheesy. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how this got through production, but it needed some, so I bought some. I just feel like, you know, look at that. You've got this ball joint shoulder. It's like, how are you supposed to make this look not like it's a ball joint shoulder without green stuffing fur? And I mean, like, not everybody's going to do that, and it looks silly if you don't. Anyway, I'll stop ranting about that. Let's see if there's anything else cool. Oh, this other weapon crew. Oh, hey, I actually painted that little fire bit. That's cool. But yeah, this crew is actually quite nice. Lots of cool stuff going on in this almost like diorama-like piece. I mean, you get the little rat down here. He's on fire because the stuff's dripping on him. You can put some more little bits and things, maybe some more rats from all the other sprues and stuff down on this base, and I think that it looks pretty darn cool. And you get some smoke up here too. I always like having really cinematic elements like that on my minis, especially when they come like that. It's really nice. So, yeah, that's all I'll really show you of that. I don't want to waste too much time going into that. But I think that that's pretty much all the questions that were asked so far. So, before we get too much further, I think I probably ought to cut this off before we go over time here. But we will see you in the next vlog, and come check out our live show, or my live show, not Wednesdays. Ugh. It's not Wednesdays, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's a Vault thing, so if you're not a Vault member, you can sign up. There's a free trial thing going on right now for a week, so check it out. And until then, happy wargaming.